What's up, YouTube fam? Welcome to the Jonathan Dearman Show, the least political show. Guys, major breaking news. So the Supreme Court is overturning, it looks like, Roe v. Wade. And I'm going to explain what this means, and I will give my opinion as well. This was a ruling that happened almost 50 years ago that essentially said that abortions are a constitutional right, meaning that states across the board had to allow at least a minimal acceptance of abortions in their state, regardless of how the elected officials and the people in that state feel about it. Well, now with the Supreme Court overturning this means the decision goes back to each state individually to determine if they want to increase restrictions or even outright ban abortions. And there are 22 states at least, probably even more than that, that lean conservative, that will probably add restrictions or maybe even ban abortions outright in their state. It is a crazy big ruling that's happening. Now, let me give my opinion. First of all, if you guys have followed this channel for any amount of time, you probably know I am extremely pro-life. I believe, as a Christian, number one, I believe that every human being is created by God, has a destiny and a purpose before they're even in their mother's womb, that God knew they would be there, and God has a purpose and a plan for them, regardless of how the pregnancy even happened, that God knew it would happen, and he has a purpose for that human despite any circumstance. That is what I believe. Because I believe that each human being has individual value and that they are individual human beings, I am therefore very pro-life. Even just outside of the Christian aspect of it, just as a moral question, it's very hard to draw the line of when it's acceptable and when it's not. In fact, when you go back to the argument that originally was happening for abortions, the whole theme was safe, legal, and rare. And the reason why it was safe, legal, and rare, the reason why the word rare was in there, because it was kind of accepted widely that this is not necessarily a good thing that's happening. Even people on the left were saying that it shouldn't be something that's celebrated, but it should be rare but safe and legal when it needs to happen. But what they learned is that that's a losing argument, because by using the word rare, you're implying that you agree that there's something not morally great about it. And so it turned from safe, legal, and rare to shout your abortion from the rooftop, right? Go proclaim it. There's nothing to be ashamed of. It's nothing but a ball of tissue. And the reason why that argument changed was not because anything morally changed or because human beings became less valuable in the womb over time. It's because they realized that it is a politically losing argument if you admit that it's a wrong, but then also try to make it safe and legal. Because admitting that it's wrong is also admitting that clump of cells has worth. And once you admit it has worth, now you have to deal with, well, if it's a human being, is it a human being? Do they have rights as individuals? This ruling from the Supreme Court will potentially save thousands and tens of thousands of unborn babies that will now become born because of this ruling. Now, of course, you can still cross state lines and get an abortion as well in that way, but many people will not do that. And I saw somebody that tweeted something saying that this is now, it's like a lottery system, right? That do you end up in a state that allows abortions or not? But it's really not like a lottery system, because whether or not abortions are legal in that particular state is dependent upon the officials that were elected by the people. So it's not randomized. It's the people choose who they want to represent them. And then those representatives make the decision as to whether or not they will allow abortion in their state. I believe that abortion is an incredible stain on America's legacy and history. We've desensitized ourselves so much to it that we've considered it that it's no big deal, but it is a huge deal in my opinion. The line is constantly being pushed farther and farther and farther. And so it used to be that the line was widely considered by many to be, once the heart starts beating, then you shouldn't have an abortion. But that wasn't a good place to set the line. So they moved the line farther and farther and farther until now you have a large group of people on the left, I don't think it's the majority, but a large group of people on the farther left that say all the way up until birth, you should be allowed to have an abortion. Guys, that is insane. That is insane to think that. That is a ridiculous, immoral, and evil position to take. As a father of 4 children, I can tell you, my son, right after he was born, he had to get several shots because they needed to do some testing on him because he was sick. And when they did that, every single time they would give him a shot, he would cry out in pain. And he was just born, and he would cry out in pain because they feel pain before the baby is born, when they're about to be born, even a couple months before they're about to be born, when the abortionist puts the sharp object in there to puncture the baby's head, the baby will actually retract its head to try to pull away and try to get away from the sharp object. This is a human being that has full functioning nerve tissues and can feel things and et cetera. And so that is an absolutely insane position to take, to say that abortion all the way up until birth should be legal. Now, again, I believe that abortion all the way from conception onward is immoral. Conception is the only place where you can draw a legitimate line. After that, it just gets fuzzy, and that's why if you poll people on the left, the line is all over the place on when it's appropriate and not appropriate, because there's no real great place to draw the line except for, in my opinion, at conception. But this idea that you can have an abortion all the way up until birth is a crazy idea. So what would I say to people that say, well, you just want to control what women do with their body? Well, there are many different abortion arguments. Some I think are better arguments than others. This is one of the worst to me. This is just a bunch of white males that want to control what women do with their body. I don't care. It has nothing to do with that. I don't care what a woman does with her own body. She has the right to do it, right? You can wave your fist in the air as long as you don't punch me in the face, right? You have the right, if a woman wants to cut off her own arm, I don't agree with it. I don't like it. I wouldn't vouch for it. If I was talking to a woman, I'd try to convince her not to, but I don't legally care. I mean, that's a sad thing to do. I just don't have a big dog in that fight. It's your own body. I do not buy into the idea that this baby is their body. And so if you're saying the argument, well, you just want to control what a woman does with her body, I don't buy into that idea. I believe that it's an individual human being. They have totally separate DNA. They're going to have maybe different eye colors, different hair colors, a different soul, a different personality. This is an individual human being located and dependent on a mother, but this is not the mother's body. It's just not another part of the mother's body. This is an individual human being, again, with a totally different DNA code than the mother. And once the baby's born, by the way, even an infant is also fully dependent on their mother. You cannot support life with an infant independent of their mother or independent of somebody caretaking for them. They are dependent all the way up until, I mean, I have a 6-year-old and she's still pretty dependent. So kids are dependent, and including babies in the mother's womb. So overall, guys, I'm celebrating today. I am celebrating today because today, in my opinion, is a win. I think that where our nation has been with regards to abortion is a grave sin and stain on America's history and reputation. And I think that this is a major win. And I know some people disagree with me, and that's okay. I would love to hear your guys' opinion. In fact, in the comments, if you agree with me, let me know. If you disagree with me, let me know. I don't have an issue hearing opinions that disagree with me. In fact, I enjoy them. And so please let me know in the comments what you guys think. And other than that, I appreciate you guys watching. If you're new around here, please hit the subscribe button, guys. Consider becoming a part of the family here. And of course, if you like this video or if you like what I'm trying to do here, leave a like on this, and I do appreciate it. Other than that, I will see you guys at the next Jonathan Dierman Show. Peace out.